Welcome to the video blog. We're here at the EXL Pharmaceutical Conference on PR and Communications, and my guest is Scott Hensley. Scott's editor of the Wall Street Journal's health website and blog.
Hi, nice to be here, David.
Nice to be here. So yours is a job that you wouldn't have had a few years ago. Can you explain a little bit about what you cover and what you're doing during your day-to-day?
Sure. I was a print reporter covering the pharmaceutical industry for most of the time that I've been at the Journal, which is since 2000. And in late 2006, we started laying plans to do more online, and in particular with something that's now called the Wall Street Journal Health Blog. And it's a way to update people on what's interesting in the news and also allow them to participate, which I think is what's really unique about blogs, is that people can come and read stories and then have a conversation with other people who are interested in the same things.
Now, how do you find that the media, that the companies that you cover are responding to this change in what you do? Do they need to be more on call with you with the multiple deadlines that you have for the blog, which can be any minute, I would imagine?
Right. It's in some ways like a wire service in that it's real-time news. And so if something happens during the day, we'll write about it as soon as we find out about it. That said, we can pick and choose. We don't have to cover every single news item about every single company the way that a wire service does. So we're very time sensitive, but we're picking what we're going to write about. And we have, like a wire service, the ability to update. So if someone can't answer the question right away, which we would prefer, of course, at least we have the option later on to say, here's an update, the company got back to us, and this is what they said.
Cool. Now, I don't want to completely put you in the space of being an advisor to the pharmaceutical industry since you're a journalist, but does it make you wonder sometimes why the industry is held in such low regard, say compared, it's put in place with the tobacco industry when their products are saving people, one would hope. Why do they have such a communications problem?
Yeah, that's a tough question, and I don't think I'm really the right person to answer it. I do think there is a paradox in that the very life-saving nature of many of the industry's products gives consumers and regulators and politicians a view that because they're important, people care about them a lot. So they feel if there's a mistake or if there's something that they feel they should have known about but weren't told, or because something is expensive, they're more get more upset about that than they would about the price of a car or something like that. I think that is the inherent conflict of here are products that people find to be so important to their lives that they don't have the same tolerance for errors or things that they perceive to have gone wrong that they might for a regular consumer product.
Sure, but perhaps because of the scrutiny and the highly regulated nature of the industry, do you think that's now forcing pharmaceutical companies to be more open, and also that what you get from them tends to be more accurate? You're not finding a lot of misleading things? Because I could imagine if someone misleads you, it's going to be a major negative story, and you're going to probably find out about it.
The kinds of things that I was thinking about are more in the where people have felt misled has been, I think, more the subject of enterprise or feature stories where someone will chronicle that there was a marketing practice or that there may have been some information withheld about a product. I think that's the thing that really gets under people's skin. From where I sit, I think the industry is responsive on the daily news as it happens. I think it's harder sometimes to square some of the bigger picture stories that emerge in that way with sort of where the industry would like to be, and I don't have any particular advice on that score.
Awesome. Two last little sections that I'll want to cover, which will be terrain probably you're more comfortable talking about because it's more about the day-to-day. Without giving your competitors a heads up, what do you see as the big stories coming down the pike in the next year, 2 years in pharma? Is it just the election and what the government response is going to be, or are there other things that are going on?
I think the election and what will happen with the overall healthcare system is going to have a big effect on pharma, and so I think you're right to point that one out in your question. I think the other phenomenon, the other thing that's happening is the industry is going through a massive restructuring right now because of the lack of new products and because of the pressure on pricing and some other things. And so it's almost a story akin to what's happening in Detroit with the auto industry. How does the industry grapple with a new era of lower, at least for now, lower expectations? It's a tough one.
Great, and some of the folks here have said basically the response is pitch the blogs better. Now, do you find that you get some of your information from other blogs? Are there certain ones that you really monitor more closely, and are you comfortable talking about those? We don't want you giving up all your sources.
Yeah, there are some really good blogs which I was in the habit of looking at before I got into the business and that I look at now. Sometimes I'm looking for information in specialized areas that I don't know about, so I'm looking for people who can open a window into that world. I think KevinMD.com is a really good source. It's an aggregator of information about medicine in particular, and so what's on the mind of primary care physicians. I think that's a terrific blog. There's some others in the medical sphere that I think are quite good. Just to throw out a couple names which people could find by Googling. The Happy Hospitalist is another niche but a very interesting blog about written by a physician who takes care of patients in the hospital and gets at a lot of the issues in patient end-of-life care, some of the things that are happening in payment for services. And it's a very personal blog. There's lots of stuff on there about the person's dogs and other things like that. So it's kind of it's a mixed bag, but I think overall it's smart and interesting and tells me the things I don't know about. One other one that I like a lot in that vein is Aggravated Doc Surge, which is written by a general surgeon out in the Mountain States, and we did a little profile of him a while back on the blog because he doesn't write very often, but when he does, he's got a real good sense of humor, and you learn something usually through his humorous anecdotes.
Cool, and for my viewers, clearly the blog that they want to be checking out is the Wall Street Journal's health blog, and thanks so much for being with us, Scott.
My pleasure. Thank you.